Hi there, you're tuned to the Portal Crows channel. Casey here, AI7NN, and today's objective is to get the internal speaker to work in this radio. Stay tuned. Well, that's the sound of the fan spinning, but you can tell we got the RF gain, AF gain up. There's no antenna hooked up, but there should be some sound from the speaker. So even changing the bands, not getting any sound. So what we're going to try is putting in an external speaker and just see if we hear anything with the new speaker, just to test that out. So just plug this in. Oh, well, that came back on. That's weird. So there's something going on with that, but let's just try to get sound going first. So I got the speaker on. Okay, so something with our speaker or our jack's messed up. So that's what we got to work on now, is either this is the jack itself needs to be replaced or our speaker needs to be replaced. So I want to take a look at the headphone jack first, and it's a real tight fit, so there's really no access right now. In order to get access, we're going to have to remove this panel. So there's just 3 screws holding this in place. You might be tempted to remove the 2 screws on the side, but you don't need to remove those. Those are just holding little brackets for this panel to sit on. So just remove those 3 screws, lift that out, and we'll get access to our headphone jack. Alright, so I got this panel flipped around so we have access to the back end of the speaker. And while we're here, we might as well test the speaker out. In order to do that, we can do 2 tests. The easy test is putting our multimeter on continuity mode, so that way when we touch our 2 probes, we'll get a beeping sound. So we should get a beeping sound when we touch one end of the speaker terminal to the other end. Okay, so that's good. And then also in here, it's saying that it's 8 ohms, 3 watts. So if I take my multimeter and let's go to ohms to measure resistance, we should get around 8 ohms. So we touch both ends of the terminal, and as you can see, the multimeter, we're pretty close to 8 ohms. So with these 2 tests, I'm pretty confident that our speaker is okay. So I think we're on the right track of checking out that headphone jack. I got the radio turned around now. Here's the little plate holding our speaker. Right here is the audio jack on the front panel, and back on the back end, this green wire and this white wire are connected to the audio jack. You can't see on the camera, but below that is a larger white wire connected to this as well. All 3 are soldered on. They look okay. So what I'm going to do is loosen the nut holding this in place with some pliers and try to take this out and get a better look at it. So I loosened the nut. Here's our audio jack now. And these are the 3 wires connected. We got a green wire and 2 green white wires connected to the same terminal. The bigger white wire that I thought was connected to this is actually for the on-off switch. So I was wrong with that, but that's why we took this out, so we can get a better look. And I'm just trying to inspect here and see what could be going wrong. When I put the adapter in for the audio plug, there's a little tab in there that goes down, so I'm not sure if there's just a loose connection without this in place. But I'm going to start by just cleaning it out in there with some isopropyl alcohol and a Q-tip, and see if that does any improvement. So I took a Q-tip with isopropyl alcohol and just tried to clean the best I could inside there. And then that little tab right here, I just tried to push it up just a little bit. I used some pliers and just tried to, just in case maybe someone left like a like an adapter like this or something in there too long and it just got worn out. So I just try to just lightly lifting up on it a little bit just to try to make it go back up more in case it was making a connection that it shouldn't have. It's really hard to tell in there. So what I'm going to do now is turn the radio back on, got to plug it back in, and we'll see if we get any sound out of our speaker with nothing connected into there. I got the power cord plugged back into the radio and into the wall. So all we did again was we just cleaned it out and tried to lift that tab up a little bit. And I'm going to turn the power on and we'll see if we hear anything. Nope, nothing on the speaker yet, just the fan spinning. So let's keep troubleshooting and see what we need to do. Well, I put everything back together. I got the audio jack put back in there, put the cover back on. Still no sound coming out of the speaker, but when we put our external speaker in, it works. And I've cleaned it out a bunch of times. I fiddled around with it. I even took the multimeter and put it on continuity mode and touched both ends of the audio jack, so the green wire end and the white green wire end, and without the headphone jack plug-in, there is a short. So there's a beep on the meter. And if I put the headphone jack in and then touch each end of the audio jack, the green wire and white wire, again on continuity mode, there is no short. So I am getting a difference, between plugging it in and not plugging it in. So I don't think it's the audio jack anymore. I'm gonna start focusing now on the external speaker jack and see if something's going on with that. So that's what we're gonna go look at next. So inspecting the rear speaker jack, I cleaned it a little bit with a Q-tip and isopropyl alcohol a little bit. And what I noticed was the connector down here, where the pin is, they were touching. Just to get a better idea, I'm going to plug in the headphone jack, and you should be able to see it go in. You see how that part's squeezing in? It was already stuck connected to the very end. And so what I did, I just took a flathead screwdriver and went in between the two silver pieces there and separated a little bit. And doing so, I was able to get the speaker to work. So I'm going to go ahead and do a demo with that right now. So I've got the power already turned on. I got an external speaker plugged into the back of the radio in the external speaker jack. I'm going to turn the external speaker on now. And we have sound now. So I can change the volume and make it louder. Now if I unplug it, we should have sound coming out of the actual radio speaker. There it is. Just a little quiet. And now if we wanted to put our headphones in, there we go. Well, that concludes today's objective of getting the internal speaker to work. Signing off from the Portable Crows channel, 73. Thanks for watching.
I'm now a radio man. You can bet your boots he knows his stuff.